Okay, good morning everyone. Our topic today is the roles and significance of Filipino indigenous social ideas to national development. So this is lesson 5 for the last quarter. Before we start our discussion, I would like you to participate in this simple activity called 2 picks 1 word. Okay, in this activity, I will present some pictures and you will identify what indigenous group are being shown in the picture. Okay, the first two picture are the following. Okay, the people in the picture has what you call curly hair and they have dark skin. So what indigenous group is being shown? Okay, very good. These are the Aitas. Next, okay, as you can observe, they are in a mountain setting. And their dresses or their outfit is very common in the Cordillera region. Okay, so who are this indigenous group? Very good. These are the Igorots. Next, okay, they have a slightly dark skin, straight hair. Okay, what indigenous group is this? These are the Mangyan. Okay, what you have seen earlier are an example of the indigenous groups in the Philippines. Okay, so indigenous peoples are custodian of some of the most biologically diverse territories in the world. They are also responsible for a great deal of the world's linguistic and cultural diversity. And their traditional knowledge has been and continues to be an invaluable resource that benefits of all mankind. So indigenous peoples around the world have inhabited diverse ecosystem for generation. Okay, they live in harmony with nature and develop deep understanding of their environment. Okay, their traditional knowledge about plants, animals, ecosystems, and natural resources is often highly sophisticated and has been passed down through oral tradition for centuries. Okay, this traditional knowledge not only contributes to the conservation of biodiversity, but also holds immense values for humanity. Okay, why is that? Because indigenous peoples practice for sustainable resource management, agricultural techniques, medicinal plant knowledge, and understanding of climate patterns offer, okay, invaluable insight for addressing global challenges such as what? Such as climate change, food security, and sustainable development. Okay, next. Okay, so this is an example of indigenous knowledge. Okay, the farming system practiced by indigenous farmers in northern Luzon comprises intricate interplay of the Payo, Muyung, and Uma, okay, originating from the Cordillera's high mountains. These components represent centuries-old indigenous knowledge finely attuned to the region's rugged terrain and ecological diversity. So the farming system in northern Luzon practiced by indigenous communities relies on three elements, which is the rice terraces or the payo, hudlas or the muyong, and Sweden agriculture or the uma. Rice terraces, ingeniously constructed into mountain slopes, allow for efficient rice cultivation by managing water flow and soil fertility. Okay, while the woodlots serve as vital reservoir of biodiversity, sources of timber, and ecological buffers, sustaining both livelihoods and ecosystem. Okay, while Sweden agriculture is a traditional practice, enables farmers to cultivate crops in diverse terrains while promoting soil fertility through periodic uh, following. Together, these components represent century-old indigenous wisdom adapted to the rugged terrain and ecological diversity of the Cordillera region, showcasing the intricate balance between human needs and environmental sustainability. So the Muyong, Payo, and the Uma is connected to each other. Okay? Now, now let us discuss what is indigenous knowledge. Okay? Okay, local and indigenous knowledge refers to the understanding, skills, philosophies developed by societies with long histories of interaction with their natural surroundings. For rural and indigenous peoples, local knowledge informs decision-making about fundamental aspects of day-to-day life. Okay? Local indigenous knowledge is what people in certain communities learn over a long time from living closely with nature. It includes things like how to grow crops in a specific area, which plants are medicinal, and how to predict weather. Okay, this knowledge is really important for these communities because it helps them make decisions about their everyday lives, like what to plant or when to move their animals. It's like a kind of wisdom passed down from ancestors that helps them live in harmony with their environment. Okay, local and indigenous knowledge is like a big box of tools that communities help build up over a period of time. These tools aren't just about practical things like farming or medicine, but they also include language, how people organize things, and even their tradition and beliefs. Together, these tools helps communities live in a way that's good for them and the environment. It's like having a special set of instructions that are just right for each community, that helps them grow and develop in a way that works for them. Indigenous knowledge is a part of a larger process that brings to light new paradigms and conception of indigenous social work, social welfare, and social development practice and research. Okay, so this indigenous knowledge refers to the wisdom, traditions, and practices that have been passed down through generation in indigenous communities. When we talk up when we talk about indigenous social work, welfare, and development, we're considering how this knowledge plays a crucial role. Okay, it helps us understand the unique needs, values, and perspective of indigenous peoples, which can lead to better approaches and solutions in areas like social work, welfare programs, and community development. Okay, in simpler words, it is about recognizing and respecting the knowledge that indigenous communities have and using it to improve how we support and work with them. Next. Okay, social work, a profession and an academic discipline promoting social change, cohesion, empowerment, and liberation, rooted in principles of social justice, human rights, collective responsibility, and respect for diversity. It engages individuals and structures to address life challenges and enhance well-being, often drawing from theories of indigenous knowledge. So, social work is all about making positive changes in society and helping people live better lives. It's both a job and a field of study that focuses on things like bringing communities together, okay, helping people feel stronger and more in control of their lives, and fighting for fairness and equality, okay? Social workers believe in treating everyone with respect, no matter their background or beliefs. They work with both individuals and larger systems, like government agencies or community organizations, to tackle problems and make life better for everyone. And when they use tourist and indigenous knowledge, they are recognizing the wisdom and tradition of indigenous peoples and using that knowledge to help create even better solution. Okay, now let us study social welfare. Okay, social welfare is a system of assistance program designed to ensure the well-being of a nation system and providing quality care throughout different life stages. It is structured as a systematic set of programs aimed at supporting societal participants, originating from efforts and intention to create a social welfare situation. Okay, social welfare is like a safety net that a country provides to its citizens to make sure that everyone has what they need to live a good life. It includes things like healthcare, education, housing assistance, and support for people who are elderly or have disabilities. Okay, these programs are set out to help people at different stages of life, from babies to seniors, and they are designed to make sure everyone gets the help they need to be healthy, happy, and safe. So that is the role of a social welfare. The idea behind social welfare is to create a society where everyone can thrive regardless of their circumstances. Okay, next is social development. Okay, the pursuit of improving the well-being of every individual in society to enable them to reach their full potential. It involves removing barriers so all citizens can progress towards their dreams with confidence and dignity, rejecting the notion that those in poverty will remain so. It aims to facilitate self-sufficient and societal success through equitable opportunities and support. So social development is about making sure everyone in society has the chance to be their best selves, okay? It's about tearing down any obstacles that might get in the way of people reaching their goals and living with dignity. Okay, this means giving everyone a fair shot at success, regardless of their background or where they came from. Okay, that is the role of a social development. Okay, now let us study the different indigenous knowledge system and technologies and practices. Okay, farming system. Since we discussed farming system earlier, let us integrate one of the examples, which is farming system in social work, social welfare, and social development. Okay? Social work is about, or it is a profession dedicated to fostering positive societal change, okay? Empowering individuals, advocating for justice and equality, and utilizing indigenous knowledge to enhance interventions and solutions. So how will we apply the farming system to social work? Okay, we can apply this by the social workers can collaborate with agricultural experts and community members to promote sustainable farming practices, providing a training on modern agricultural techniques and address food security issue. So it promotes societal change, right? Next is social welfare. Okay, welfare is about a systematic array of assistance programs designed to ensure the well-being and quality of life for all the citizens. So how will we apply farming system to social welfare? Okay. Welfare programs support agricultural subsidies, microfinance, and access to markets for indigenous farmers, ensuring their economic stability and food sovereignty. So there are programs that support farmers to ensure that uh, they have enough resources to maintain their harvest, which promotes or ensures economic stability and food sovereignty. How about social development? Okay, social development is about fostering an environment where all individuals can fulfill their potential by removing barriers or obstacles. Okay, how will we apply social development to farming system? Okay, we can apply by increasing agricultural productivity, food security, and resilience to environmental challenges through sustainable farming practices and preservation of traditional agriculture knowledge. So in this, we did not remove the what you call obstacle, but we enhance. Okay, we increase agricultural productivity and food security, and even the resilience to environmental challenges. So next indigenous knowledge system is wood carving. Okay, wood carving is both livelihood and an art. It has an Asian origin. Many indigenous groups are involved in wood carving in combination with farming. Okay, this craft is done during the dry season. For many residents, it is more profitable to remain at home carving than to work for wages in any industry in a faraway place. So wood carving serves as both as a means of livelihood and a form of artistic expression, with its roots tracking back to ancient times. Many indigenous groups engage in wood carving alongside their farming activities, often practicing this craft during the dry season when agricultural work is less demanding. This traditional craft not only provides economic sustenance but also serves as a source of cultural pride and identity. For many residents in these communities, Wood carving can be more financially rewarding than seeking employment in distant industries, making it a preferred occupation to sustain their families. Thus, wood carving represents not only a practical means of income generation, but also a cherished tradition that embodies the creativity and craftsmanship of indigenous cultures. Next slide is about livestock farming. Okay, the tribe people also raise livestock, including swine, pigs, chickens, carabao, cow, and many other more. The main reason for raising animals, especially chicken and pig, relate to the tradition of performing kanao for the Ifugao and atang for the Ilocano, or simply paying the gods and goddesses during the harvest. Moreover, it is a source of additional income. Okay, livestock farming among tribal communities encompasses the raising of animals such as swine, chickens, and carabao. Okay, this practice is deeply intertwined with cultural tradition, with rituals like kanao for the Ifugao and atang for the Ilocano, involving offerings to gods and goddesses during harvest time. Animals like chickens and pig are often central to these rituals, symbolizing abundance and prosperity. Additionally, livestock farming serves as a practical source of supplementary income for tribal households, providing financial security beyond agricultural yields. Okay, fishing. Fishing is the lifeblood and way of life for some indigenous group. Before seaweed farming was introduced, the sustenance and survival depend solely on fishing. The fishing methods employed are environmentally friendly. This includes lingi, pag-ambit, paubik, bubu, pitikan, and sangkaliya. Okay? For certain indigenous group, fishing isn't just a means of sustenance. It's their lifeblood and way of life. Before the introduction of seaweed farming, their entire existence revolved around fishing. What's remarkable is their commitment to environmentally friendly fishing methods, reflecting a deep respect for nature. These methods include slingy for net fishing, pag-ambit for deep sea fishing, paubik or pana that use spears and arrows, or hook and line, bubu for bamboo fish traps, pitikan as a diving weapon, and sangkaliyaw for shark fishing. These techniques not only ensure a sustainable harvest but also maintain the delicate balance of marine ecosystem. Fishing, therefore, isn't just about catching fish. It's also about preserving traditions, honoring nature, and sustaining livelihoods for generations to come. Okay, that is uh, very kind of them to sustain the environment for the next generation. Another home-based livelihood among tribe is weaving, okay? Their woven produce include placemats, bag, purses, wallet, bedsheet, chaleco, and pencil case to name a few. Raw materials used for these products are obtained locally. So weaving is a significant home-based livelihood for many tribal communities, where artisans craft a variety of items such as placemats, bags, purses, wallets, bedsheets, vests, and pencil cases. What's remarkable is that all the raw materials for this product are sourced locally, reflecting the deep connection between the artisan and their natural surroundings. Through weaving, these communities not only create practical and beautiful items, but also preserve their cultural heritage and traditional craftsmanship. Each woven piece tells a story, celebrating the rich history and creativity of indigenous cultures, while providing a sustainable source of income for families. Next is the food preparation. Okay, root crops are gathered from the forest or from the hills with the use of rough tools like wooden debo stick. Okay, so ayan yung parang pati na ginagamit nila. So, indigenous communities start their food preparation by gathering root crops like yams, sweet potatoes, taro, and cassava from the forest or hills. Okay, they use basic tools like wooden debo sticks or iron-tipped debo stick for this. These root crops are vital for their diet, providing essential nutrients. Gathering them not only feeds the community but also keeps them connected to nature and their traditional ways of living. Okay? By using the simple tools, indigenous people show their ability to adapt and thrive, turning what they find in the forest into meals that keep them healthy and connected to their heritage. So that is the different indigenous knowledge system, technology, and practices that our different indigenous groups uses. Okay, goodbye. Stand by for the activities. Thank you.